Salah, last night Liverpool were able to get a vital 1-0 win against Inter Milan at the San Siro. Now, despite the game, all the focus afterwards was, of course, on Salah's future and whether or not he's going to apologise for his comments. Jimmy, I'll start with you. Look, is Salah in the wrong? And did Liverpool do the right thing in dropping him? What are your thoughts on it?
What are my thoughts? I think, look, we all love Mo Salah, what he has done and what he has done for Liverpool. He's been an absolutely magnificent player until now for Liverpool. Do I think that he shouldn't have done what he has done? Yes, I think it's wrong to come out like that. I think it's disrespectful to his team, to his fellow other players, you know, of the team. I think it was calculated. I think it was not needed. I understand that he's frustrated and that he wants to play football and that he thinks that he deserves a longer period because he has so much in the tank. He's done so much for Liverpool. I understand that. I agree with that. But to come out like that, I think that is wrong, especially after the match, after the Leeds match, after also that he hasn't played well at all this year. He's not looked the same. He's not looked as how he was previous. We all know what happened in the summer, and that might have affected him. He might not think so. You know, it might be, but he's not been the same. And that's a fact. And for him to come out with those kind of comments and saying, I think it's unfair to the team and not right. He should have let somebody else come out and say those kind of things.
Should he have kept it in-house, is what you're saying?
I think what he should have done is, look, I understand that he's angry. I understand that he's frustrated. He wants to play. He wants to do well for Liverpool. But go in and knock the door down of the manager. Get angry with the manager. Have a row with the manager. You know, one-to-one. If that's really what you're feeling, and if you don't have the relationship anymore that you had last year, go to the manager and make it 1v1 to the manager.
The thing is, I mean, he may have done that. If he had done that and had spoken privately with Slot and then not received the desired result, at what point do you think he can come out publicly and speak about how he's feeling?
I don't think that you need to go publicly. It's not needed. It's not for the public, especially not just after a match. You know, there's no need for that. What are you trying to achieve with that? You know, what is he trying to achieve with that point at that time? Yes, we are all at times, especially footballers, emotional and you're not winning, you're not getting the result, and on top of that, you're not playing while you're always used to of playing. But you're also playing at Liverpool Football Club, and Liverpool Football Club is one of the biggest clubs in the world. You have to perform. That shirt is very heavy. You have to perform week in, week out. You have to do the business. He hasn't done it this year. So it is Slot's decision to put him on the bench or not, you know, or to give him more credit or not. Let's all ask one question. Do you think that Slot wants to win? He wants to win, you know? So he thinks that Mo Salah has to sit on the bench for a little period of time and then maybe come back later. Of course he's not going to like that. That's what Slot wants. But you don't come out with those kind of comments, my personal opinion.
Okay, I'm going to bring in our chief correspondent, Solhekol. Kaveh, look, Slot said after the game, does the player know he's made a mistake? Should the initiative come from me or him? Is a Salah apology the only way back?
Look, I think what's going to happen is, behind closed doors, obviously Salah is going to have a conversation with Slot. Now, what I know for a fact is, if Salah believes that he has no future left at Liverpool, then all he needs to do is tell his agent, and his agent will pick up the phone, speak to officials in Saudi Arabia, and there's a long list of clubs in Saudi Arabia who are ready and willing to sign him on loan or in a permanent move in January. But that will only happen if that call is made, if that information is relayed to clubs in Saudi Arabia. And I'm not sure we've got to the situation where Salah feels that he has no future at Liverpool. And I'm not sure we've got to the situation where Salah feels in himself that he's not good enough to be playing at the highest level of the game in Europe.
The thing is, if that's what he really feels, after 3 matches on the bench, come on, that's very harsh, isn't it? Let's not forget, last year, he was allowed to not have to defend because other players were defending for him so that he could reserve his energy and only concentrate really on attacking. This year it doesn't work. It's not working this year because they have got words, they have got other players that needs a little bit more attention as well. So if he's going to think after 3 matches on the bench, oh, I need to go, how much the £100 million player feels that has been sitting on the bench is not working as well, or Isaac, or
but don't you think it's the case that the top players in the world, Lionel Messi doesn't defend, Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't defend, Kylian Mbappe doesn't defend, and if Mo Salah went to Saudi Arabia, he wouldn't have to defend at all.
Okay, yes, and Lionel Messi doesn't have to defend, but he wins the World Cup. Yeah, because he's got other players.
Mo Salah's won the Champions League. He's won the Premier League.
He's won the Champions League. How many years ago? Last year he won the league. This year he's not doing it. Messi does it game in, game out, game in, game out, and the top players do. And I'm not saying that Mo Salah is not a top player. He's a top player, but he hasn't done it this year. He has not done it. And for me, I look at body language. His body language has not been the same. You know, in that team, I don't know what is happening. His body language is not being the same.
Do you think he still has it in him to compete at the highest level?
Yeah, I do think you don't lose it in like months. It goes gradually. I don't think that he's been himself for whatever reason. Yes, Liverpool has gone a different way how they are playing. And how they want to play. They have got a different manager. He wants to have more control with the ball. He wants to play a little bit more through the thirds. Liverpool used to be different. You know, they were more like rock and roll and more like when they lose the ball, really chasing and win the ball really high and then go from there. They're not that kind of team. And even Mo needs to adjust to that. So they're not playing well. Mo is part of that. Yes, Mo is the biggest name there, and Slot has chosen to attack the biggest name.
You obviously know a lot about Dutch managers. What do you think Slot will do now? Will he bring him back into the squad for the game at the weekend?
I don't think that Slot will bring him back until he has had a serious conversation with him and Mo giving a serious apology.
Public or private?
I think private will be enough. If that happens, I think there is a way back for Mo. I don't think that Slot is going to want to lose Mo because there's goals there. And he knows that he can win games with Mo. But on the other hand, Slot, proper Dutch, they're going to want him to work into the rules of the team ethics, and it's not going to be any different for Mo.
What have you made of how Slot has handled the situation thus far?
I think he's been relaxed. I think he's done it really in a calm way, not showing too much emotion. Yes, he needed to have a reaction and show everybody I'm in control. Yeah, he's staying home. He's not with the team. Let's take that energy away from the team so that we can concentrate on our game against Inter. And I think he will do that at the weekend again. You know, I don't think that he will concentrate too much on Mo until Mo comes to him, I think. You know, and on the other hand, it might be a good thing that Mo goes to Africa and everybody can have a breather for a couple of weeks and then come back together and maybe, you know, you miss each other.
Absolutely.
And you can hug and kiss.
Look, Jimmy, as a manager, as a player, have you had this situation before or a similar one, you know, and where you've been a teammate?
You can't have been happy when you were dropped.
No. That's why I understand him. I understand him that he is fuming. He's angry, and he should be. I've gone to that, but I've gone to the manager. I have, and teammates must have heard me, you know, screaming and shouting against in the manager's room. That's the way, in my eyes, to do it. You know, not coming out, and I just don't understand. What is he trying to achieve with it?
Well, you say that, right? We heard Thierry Henry spoke on this exact same thing last night about, you know, he's been in that situation before. Star player, he's not happy about being dropped. He's gone to the manager, he's, you know, smashed things up in the dressing room, but he said he's not done it publicly and he's kept it in-house in the dressing room. So you're saying, what is he trying to achieve from this? Does he want to move? Is that what it is?
I don't think that he wants to move. I think it's more like a power struggle. I don't think that he's manufacturing a move. There might be a move now on the horizon, but I don't think that when he went to do it, that he was thinking, okay, I need to do this because I want to leave now. I think that he has more done it because he thinks I'm the man, you know, and that is wrong because that is disrespectful to your fellow teammates. What is he trying to say? I should not be on the bench, it should be somebody else, basically.
We have seen an increase in this player power, haven't we, in the modern game? Would you say, Kave?
I don't know. I remember the days when Jimmy was a player. There was a lot of player power back in those days as well.
Not as much as now. Come on,
Jimmy
no.
He was not happy when he wasn't playing.
He wasn't. Nobody is.
No. I mean, and you're right. You're right. And he shouldn't be happy.
What happened to Alan Shearer when he was dropped by Ruud Gullit?
Yeah.
At Newcastle.
Yeah, he got sacked.
Ruud Gullit lost his job a few days later. We've seen this before. I've got sympathy for Mo Salah.
Me as well.
I just think he was upset. He wasn't playing. He didn't come off the bench at Leeds. They conceded a late equaliser. He saw a friendly face in the mix zone. It was from the local paper. It was somebody he knows, has a relationship with, and he decided to be honest. What's wrong with being honest?
I don't. He didn't see a friendly.
He didn't
see a friendly.
From a journalist point of view,
no.
Surely we want players to be honest.
For a journalist,
otherwise we're all wasting our time.
For a journalist, a point of view, it was absolutely magnificent. It was magnificent.
Loving it.
Yeah, and great, but he didn't see a friendly face. No. This was calculated. He never speaks to journalists.
He does sometimes stop in the mix zone.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And what does he say? Hi, how are you? Yeah, I was great. Great 3 goals.
Or when it was about his future.
When it was about his contract.
When it's exactly. And he played that really well.
When he was substituted by Klopp, he said, I can't speak, otherwise there would be fire.
Here you go. Yeah?
So he does.
But how often? He doesn't speak. This was calculated. This was. I've got sympathy for him as well. I don't think. I think there could be a little bit more like giving him because of what he has done.
So that credit in the bank.
Yeah, a little bit. But then on the other hand, we're also talking about Klopp's future. We also think
the point I make is,
Klopp has to win as well.
Do you want a world where players are not honest? They're just robots. And they just stop and just say something for the sake of it.
No.
He's expressing the way he feels.
No.
He's a winner. He's one of the greatest players the world's ever seen, and he's upset.
If that is the case, then he needs to do that every week, and he needs to say every week after he has lost or not played well, I'm so frustrated. I didn't play well because of this. But he doesn't. This was calculated.
I'm not sure. I think he was just being impetuous. He was being impulsive. In the heat of the moment, he was just upset that he didn't play. And he said a few things.
But he wasn't
shouldn't have
accosted,
said.
Carve.
Right,
He wasn't accosted by journalists. He went to the mix zone.
He
That's
walked
different.
through the mix zone and he saw
But
somebody.
they have a choice, don't they? And he didn't play that game, so he could have quite easily gone straight back.
Normally, if you don't play in a game, you never stop and talk to journalists. And most players never stop in the mix zone anyway. So I accept that was calculated. He obviously sat in the dressing room and he thought, I'm going to go out and talk.
Right.
You've been so long in this business.
Yeah, call him out,
so
Jimmy.
long in this business.
You've been so long in this business.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna reverse this. We want players to be honest and come out, but we also want journalists to come out and be honest.
He's got you there, Carve. He's absolutely got you there. Oh, absolutely love it. Okay.
This was calculated. Honestly, it was. He wanted everybody to know, I am not happy. Slot is not talking to me. He's pushed me out. He's not having conversations with me. He's not letting me stay up and not have to defend like last year. X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. That's what he wanted. And I don't think that he's manufactured a move. Yeah? And I don't think that he expected that this would blow up as much as it has. But I definitely think that he wanted to show a power.
Stop.
You know, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mikel Arteta has made it clear that Arsenal will need to unleash their complete player against Bayern Munich. The Gunners host the German champions at the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday, and one man in particular could be decisive. Ebereki Eze, described as a very complete player by teammate Mikel Merino, is emerging as one of Arsenal's most dangerous weapons ahead of their Champions League clash with Bayern. The 27-year-old announced himself in North London with a stunning hat-trick in his first derby since arriving in a £67.5 million move from Crystal Palace. His 3 brilliant goals dismantled Tottenham, and truthfully, he could have scored even more. Mourinho believes every one of Arsenal's 8 summer signings has lifted the squad's level, helping the team build a 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League. But Wednesday's matchup is different. Bayern Munich, the reigning Bundesliga champions, represent the toughest test yet for Arteta's side. Speaking after the win over Spurs, Mourinho praised Eze's qualities and hinted at the impact he could have in such a high-stakes European battle. We've brought in a lot of players who can make a difference. But you can see that other teams have spent big as well, the Spain international said. Individual brilliance can win matches, sure, but in the end, it's the team that matters. If you have great players who don't connect, that's a problem. The good thing about this group is that everyone thinks about the team first. When asked about Eze specifically, Mourinho didn't hesitate. I think he's incredibly complete. He can dribble, he can pass, and his technical quality is outstanding. In Spain, we always talk about players who can connect with others. He has that naturally. He grew up with that instinct to link play, move the ball, and build relationships on the pitch. He also has the mindset to get involved, demand the ball, and influence the game. At the same time, he's strong, he can take players on, and he can finish. He's a truly complete signing. Mourinho also touched on how the modern game often reduces players to simple numbers. These days everyone judges players by goals and assists, that's just how it is. But as footballers, we see the deeper qualities he brings, the technique, the movement, the intelligence. Even in training, you can tell immediately how special he is. Yes, he's scoring goals, but he's much more than that. He's an exceptional player, and we're incredibly lucky to have him. He can play in several positions and adapt to different systems. He's been a huge addition for Arsenal. Beyond the technical qualities, Mourinho believes Eze's attitude, and the healthy competition within the squad, will be crucial in Arsenal's title push. You can hear the calm in Ebereki's voice and see it in the way he carries himself. He's confident, grounded, and every morning we sit together in the sauna at the training ground and talk about everything, he added with a smile. He's a great guy, already fully integrated, and we need players like him. Competition is fierce. There's so much quality in this squad. That's exactly what the manager wanted, as many top players as possible, all ready to play. It makes his decisions tough, choosing who starts and who doesn't, but it also pushes every one of us to give our best in every session. And that's why we're improving as a team. As Arsenal prepare for Bayern's arrival, Arteta is facing one of the most delicate balancing acts of the season. The squad is healthy, competition is fierce, and expectations have never been higher. But behind the scenes, there is a growing sense that Iza's versatility and calm presence may be essential against a Bayern side known for controlling the tempo in big European nights. Arteta himself has hinted at Iza's importance without naming him directly. After the Tottenham victory, the manager spoke about the need for players who can break pressure, dictate rhythm, and stay composed when the game becomes chaotic. Those inside the club believe those comments were aimed at Iza as much as anyone. The coaching staff has been particularly impressed by how quickly he has adapted to Arsenal's positional play structure, a system that demands far more tactical discipline than what he was used to at Crystal Palace. Analysts at the club point to his growing influence not only in the final third, but also in build-up phases, where his ability to glide past pressure could help Arsenal bypass Bayern's aggressive midfield line. There is also an awareness that Bayern's fullbacks tend to push high, leaving spaces between the lines. Iza's skill set, sharp turns, deceptive acceleration, and precise final balls, could be exactly what Arteta needs to exploit those gaps. Outside the club, pundits have already started circling Wednesday's match as a defining moment for the £67.5 million signing. Some believe that if Iza can impose himself on a Champions League quarter-final against Bayern Munich, it will confirm his arrival among Europe's elite creative players. Former players have echoed that sentiment. Several ex-Arsenal figures, speaking on television over the weekend, highlighted the need for someone who can change the temperature of the match with a moment of calm or an unexpected burst of creativity. Iza, they argued, is one of the few in the squad capable of both. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich come into the match with their own confidence. Their midfield trio has been one of the most dominant in Europe this season, and they have shown a repeated ability to suffocate opponents early. That dynamic is precisely why Arteta may lean on Iza's composure. When the game tightens, Arsenal will need a player capable of slowing it down, protecting the ball, and finding solutions in tight spaces. Within Arsenal's dressing room, Mourinho's praise reflects a broader consensus. Senior players have reportedly been struck by Iza's humility and work ethic, qualities that have helped him integrate seamlessly into a squad that already had strong internal chemistry. Staff members describe him as someone who never forces the game and lets the match come to him, characteristics that could prove invaluable in a high-tension Champions League tie. As kickoff approaches, the narrative surrounding the match has shifted. What began as a test of Arsenal's resilience has quietly become a spotlight on whether Iza can elevate them in Europe the same way he has in the Premier League. For Arteta, the equation is simple. If Arsenal are to overcome Bayern, they will need more than intensity. They will need control. They will need creativity. And increasingly, they will need the completeness Iza brings to every phase of the pitch. Whether he starts in a wide role as a floating midfielder, or even as an interior playmaker, the expectation is the same. Iza will have to find the spaces others cannot, and influence the game in ways that statistics alone will not capture. The stakes are high, the opponent is formidable, and the spotlight is intense. But within the walls of London Coney, the belief is growing that this is exactly the kind of stage Ebereki Iza was signed for. Martin Odegaard is nearing a return to action after suffering a medial collateral ligament injury in Arsenal's 2-0 win over West Ham earlier in October. Yet, 3.5 years after Mikel Arteta named him captain, the Norwegian finds himself in an unfamiliar position. His place in the starting lineup is no longer guaranteed. For the first time since joining the club permanently from Real Madrid in August 2021, there is real debate over whether he remains an automatic choice for Arteta's 11. Odegaard, now 26, has been central to Arsenal's resurgence under Arteta, the conductor who shaped the team's rhythm through some of their most fluid football. But this season, the Gunners have been forced to navigate long stretches without their captain, first due to a shoulder issue that kept him out of 4 matches in September, and then because of a knee collision with West Ham's Crescencio Somerville that sidelined him again. And during his absence, something significant happened. Ebereki Iza stepped into the spotlight. Iza's sensational hat-trick in the North London Derby has complicated the picture. Now thriving in a central role, the England international has given Arsenal a different kind of presence around the edge of the box. A blend of unpredictability, directness, and two-footed confidence that opponents struggle to contain. He may not control games with the same metronomic precision as Odegaard, but he offers a spark, a willingness to take risks at moments when Arsenal need a jolt of creativity. After such a standout performance against Tottenham, it feels almost impossible to imagine Arteta leaving Iza out. The manager has always had a soft spot for players riding a wave of confidence, and Ease is currently surfing at full height. There was a similar situation back in September, when Mikel Merino was handed a start against Manchester City after scoring 4 times in 2 games for Spain, including a hat-trick against Turkey. Arteta doesn't hesitate to reward form. Ease has carried that form onto the international stage as well, recently scoring a stunning goal for England in a 2-0 win over Serbia in the World Cup qualifiers at Wembley. Though he can play on the left, it has always been clear that Arteta brought him to the Emirates to operate in midfield. And with Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi near untouchable in the double pivot, the odds of Ease and Odegaard consistently starting together seem slim. That leaves Odegaard in an unfamiliar position. He needs minutes to rebuild sharpness, yet Arsenal's medical team won't rush him. The plan is likely to ease him back through short substitute appearances before restoring him to larger roles. But even once fully fit, Odegaard faces genuine competition, because Ease has shifted the landscape. His arrival has raised the team's ceiling, and his performances have earned him the right to keep his place. Before the dismantling of Tottenham, Ease had scored only twice for Arsenal, one against Port Vale in the Carabao Cup and another versus his former club Crystal Palace, a clever finish that sealed victory. Now with 5 goals across all competitions, he sits just 1 behind Odegaard's total from last season, when the captain made 45 appearances. Odegaard's 2023-24 numbers were outstanding: 11 goals, 12 assists, influence written across every competition. That is the standard he must match again if he wants to reclaim his spot, because Ease is hungry, confident, and eager to impress ahead of next summer's World Cup. Arteta will insist that Arsenal need both players at their best if they are to meet their ambitions in the months ahead. And with Kai Havertz also working his way back to full fitness, potentially slotting into midfield behind marquee striker Victor Gyökeres, the battle for places has never been fiercer at the Emirates. For Odegaard, the message is clear: he must rise to the challenge. His leadership and quality remain unquestioned, but he can no longer rely on reputation alone. If he embraces the competition and fights his way back into the side, his return could push Arsenal to even greater heights. And if the team has already reached this level without several key figures, the potential for what comes next may be even greater. Inside the club, staff members are quietly acknowledging that Arsenal are entering a new phase, one where no player, not even the captain, is immune to tactical evolution. Arteta has spent the past 2 seasons building a squad capable of sustaining pressure across multiple competitions, and the emergence of Ease is a sign that the manager's long-term planning is beginning to bear fruit. Depth is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. But with depth comes difficult decisions. Arteta has always valued balance in midfield, and the contrasting profiles of Odegaard and Ease force him to reconsider what type of midfield best suits the team's ambitions in Europe and the Premier League. The technical control and spatial awareness that Odegaard brings have defined Arsenal's identity under Arteta. Conversely, Ease's dynamism, physical presence, and unpredictable touches give Arsenal a new dimension, especially against teams that sit deep or defend aggressively in central areas. This internal shift has also caught the attention of analysts and former players. Several pundits have begun to question whether the captaincy should guarantee a place in the lineup, especially at a club with ambitions of challenging for the Champions League. Others argue that Odegaard's leadership is too valuable to sideline, pointing to the standards he sets in training and his influence over younger players. Those debates are already spilling into the media, and they will only intensify as the season progresses. There is also the tactical question of whether Arteta might eventually experiment with a system that accommodates both Ease and Odegaard, something he briefly attempted earlier in the season during the win over West Ham. But with Rice and Zubimendi forming an almost impenetrable midfield pairing, any reshuffle risks destabilizing the defensive structure that has made Arsenal one of the most resilient teams in the league. The manager has hinted that he is open to adjustments, but only if they enhance the team's overall cohesion. For Odegaard himself, the challenge is as much psychological as it is physical. He has worked hard to cultivate an image of calm authority, a leader who raises the level of those around him through clarity and consistency. Now he must show that he can adapt, compete, and respond to adversity. His teammates still speak of him with admiration, describing him as one of the most studious and detail-oriented players at London Coney. They believe that once he regains full rhythm, he will naturally reassert his influence. Yet even they acknowledge that the landscape has shifted. One senior player privately remarked that, "The team is different now. Ease has changed what we can do in the final third." That sentiment reflects not a lack of faith in Odegaard, but an understanding that Arsenal have evolved while he has been sidelined. For Arteta, the ideal scenario is straightforward: a fully fit Odegaard competing with a fully confident ease, creating a level of internal competition that lifts the entire squad. The manager often speaks about the need for healthy tension among his players, pressure that keeps standards high without fracturing unity. The arrival of Victor Gyökeres, combined with the recovery of Havertz, only amplifies that dynamic. Arsenal's season will almost certainly hinge on these midfield decisions. With Champions League knockout matches approaching and the Premier League title race tightening, Arteta must decide not only who starts, but what kind of identity he wants his team to carry into the defining months of the campaign. The next few weeks will reveal whether Odegaard's return sparks a resurgence or a battle for relevance. If he manages to reclaim his place, it could serve as a reminder of why Arteta trusted him with the armband in the first place. If he struggles, it will underline how rapidly Arsenal are progressing, and how little room there is for sentiment at the highest level. Either way, the captain's response will shape not just his future, but the trajectory of a team that believes it is on the brink of something significant.